Hello guys, my name is Larry and welcome to my YouTube channel called the 956 Studio. Today we're going to cover a topic that probably you might be very interested in. If you wasn't, you wouldn't be clicking in on this video. It is how to use Mach 3 as a beginner, and I'm going to cover some of the basic steps, nothing in depth at this point, just the basics of how the program actually works and how to get files over to it. And that way the G-code is sent to you, whatever apparatus or tool that you're using for cutting. So let's get started. Now you're not only going to need the Mach 3 software, or the program we're showing you here. You might have Mach 4, you might have an older version or something like that. But anyhow, we're going to be showing you Mach 3, and we're going to be using CUT2D to create the file and then send that over to the actual Mach 3 program, which will cut out whatever the item is that we're going to be cutting, or the lettering or design. So here's CUT2D desktop. Now this is a paid version. I think it's like 130, 140 bucks. I'll leave some links down in the description where you can get to it, or where to purchase it. I personally like it because it's simple. I'm up in age, so this is something that's easier for me to understand and work with. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go over here and create new file. Now here is where you're going to go over here to the left hand side. This is where you're going to set the actual dimensions of your job, the actual job size. Now in my case, I've already measured it out, and I'm not sure. All right, now you want to make sure you zero all these out, and then you're going to be using your setup program may be totally different than mine, but I use these buttons right here. This is up and down. As you can see, the numbers have changed in the Z-axis, which is up and down, page up, page down. And then I've got these buttons here set up on my keyboard to go left and right. And then this goes back and this goes forward. So you're going to want to take your machine and your project. In this case, we're going to be using this piece of cedar here. And as you see, I've already marked it on the board. It's 21 inches by 4.5 inches by 0.665 thickness. Now, thickness is very, very, very critical. If you do not have the thickness of the board set properly, your tool that's going to be doing the actual work itself, and I'm not sure what you're using, but if you're using something like this, it's going to dive too deep or too shallow, and your finished product is not going to be very well or even close to what you're looking at. So the depth that you see right over here, these dimensions, thickness, height, and width, are super, super important. So there you go. Ours, in this case, again, were 21 by 4.5. Okay, we got 4 here. Let's change that to 4.50 or 4.5. And then we're going to go back over here. We're going to change that to 21 inches. And then we're going to change, see how the screen changed over here? Then we're going to go back over here on the thickness, and we're going to put in 0.665. Now we're also be going from the material surface. You can go from machine bed, which is the bottom part of your wood or whatever you're going to be engraving in or cutting. We're going to use the top material surface, and we're going to go on the left-hand top corner. And then you're going to single-sided, of course, unless you want to go double. I'm not going to jump off into double. That's a little bit more sketchy. So we're going to stick with the single side. We're going to keep everything very basic here, just to get you to make some basic lettering. Once you got all these settings set, then you're going to click OK. Now it comes up, you got a different page completely here. Now I'm not going to explain all these. I'm going to give you just some of the basics. Like today, we're going to be working with nothing but text. And this is your text box. Draw text, or draw text within a vector box. We're going to stick with the draw text first. If you want to import a file, which I'll show you how that works, import vectors from a file into a current job. You'll click that, and then you'll go wherever you have your SVG files. Okay, now I'm not sure if this is a good file, but let's just click on it and open it. It is a good file. So there is a file right there that we could use if we were cutting out that wording of family, which we're not. So we're going to delete that right now. We're going to go back to what we're concentrating on, and that's mostly text. We're going back over here, and this is what we're going to be working on, the text. So you hit text, and as you see, the little box popped up right there. Now, that's where you type in your text. And let's say we wanted to use the word Christmas. You just type it in, Christmas. Oh, I think I misspelled it. I got one too many letters. There we go, Christmas. Now you see that it came up in super large size. It's way too big for the project size. So what we're going to have to do here now is we're going to change. We don't like the font lettering. I don't like it at all. So let's say you don't like it. In my situation, I don't. We're going to go back over here and we're going to change it. Now you see it says font over here. Now you must have this section highlighted. Yeah, this section must be highlighted before you make any changes over here. And how you do that is you just go over here, click out of it. I'm gonna close it, start again. Go back over here, bring your cursor, square it up. Then you can go right back over here, go to text. See how it lit this up now? You can change that. So let's say we want to go from true type, we want to go to single line. Myself, I really don't like that. So we're going to make some changes. These are all of your options in CUT2D. It's kind of limited, but let's just click on a few of them. See how that changed. Let's go over here to connecting script. Myself personally, I don't like that. I like to go back over here to something like that. I want to keep it where people can read it, and maybe I'm going to go back over here to this one right here, and voila, you got that. So for the purpose of the video, let's just leave it like that. Now see, if you click outside of that, it goes black, which means you can't do anything with it. So close out the screen if you want to. Come back in here, click around it, and then we need to change the size. So go under Transform Objects and set selected object size. The second one from the left, top row, Transform Objects. Now click on that. See how it changed all this right here? Now you can go in here and you can grab this outer edge right here and you can spin it around. Now I'm going to take the page, move it. Now you want to close this up. You can do it with the numbers over here, and I'll show you how that works. Let's say we want to go to 3 inches, put 3.0, and just hit outside the box, and it's going to change it. Now, if you don't like that, let me click out of it. Bring the screen back up. Again, square up around it. Select object size. And another way to do that is click right over here after you got it up in pink or fuchsia color. Grab it. Grab it. And I find this to be much faster. It's already pretty good there. It's pretty much centered there, but we don't want it to cut outside the wood. So let's bring it in a little bit more. And then let's grab it in the middle and move it up a little bit like so. Now that's pretty dadburn nice. Now if you're happy with it, click outside of it, close. If the apply is lit up, hit the apply. If not, hit close. Now say for instance you want to make sure that it's centered in the box. You'll go right here under Transform Objects and you'll click whichever one of these that you're interested in. My situation, I'm gonna click that one right there. Now see how it moved it automatically, put it where it needs to go. Now we've got this. This is what we're gonna cut out on that piece of wood that we showed you at the beginning. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create our toolpaths. You go over here. I'm gonna use Profile Toolpath. Now each one of these is different and we'll cover them in our next video. You know, tread milling toolpath, quick engraving toolpath, inlay toolpath, etc. But we're going to stick with the very basic. We're going to stick on this one right here. Now you see how that opened up? Now our starting depth is going to be 0, 0. Cutting depth is going to be 0.002. And here's where you select the bit that you're going to be using. In our case, we're going to be using a V-bit 60° 1/4 inch. Now you want to select that, you can. If you want to edit it, you go there, and then you got this box. that opens up where you can choose other bits at this time. So all of my settings are pretty good if you want to look at those. And it's even showing a picture of the bit that we're using, and you're going to click OK. Now then, it shouldn't be closing up like that. For some reason it's doing that. Now you can hit this button right up here and it will keep it out continually, but I'm not sure why mine's closing. So we're going to edit the passes. Now that we have the tool bit set up, we're going to go down here. We're going to say we want it done in 2 passes. You're going to set the passes and then you're going to hit OK. But see how it changes it? 1 depth and then goes to a deeper depth. Hit OK. See, it shut it up again, which it shouldn't be doing that. The rest of the stuff is pretty basic. You won't need it, just doing the basic cut that we're going to be doing today. But then you need to go down here and you need to name this profile that you're going to create. We're going to put just XMAS. And then you got a vector selection. If you don't get this cleared up, you won't cut anything. Right now we've got objects, close vectors, open vector 0. We're going to hit associated with Toolpath and we're going to close it. Now see how I switched this over here to automatic? That's what you're looking for. Now then, you're going to calculate. See how I calculated your toolpath? It's going to start here and it's going to run all the way down here until it finishes it. Now if you want to go back to seeing 2D, go right here. If you want to see 3D, there you go. Now go back to your toolpath at this point and close it. Once you've created that toolpath, one of the last steps you're going to need to do is you're going to go back down to toolpath, save toolpath. It's the very bottom right hand side. You're going to save it. You see it's going to be G code. Make sure when you set your machine up that you have this set appropriately, or else it will not save it the right way and you'll be pulling what little hair you have out on your head trying to find it. So we're going to save the toolpath. Now it's going to ask you where you want to save it. I'm going to save it in my documents and it's called Xmas, and you're going to save it. Now you've already created your cut. You've already created what you want to create. Now I need to go back over here and open up Mach 3. Now this is where it gets to be fun, a lot of fun. You're going to load the G code. Now you can do that one of 2 ways. You can do it right here, or you can go up here and load G code. I'm kind of fond and pretty much stuck on doing it this way. So now you're going to go to where you might have that file saved at, and we're looking for Xmas, which is Christmas. If you have a lot of files like I do, it may take you a little while to find that. Right there it is. Left click it 2 times, voila, and it's going to open up that SVG file and it's going to cut from there. So you've created a file, you've created the drawing that you want, and that's how you link them together. Now the next thing you're going to do is you're going to set up your wood in your machine, and in my case it's going to be this old homemade machine here. Now I'm going to try to get this where you can see it the best I possibly can. Oh, by the way, that's my old homemade sawmill. We cut a lot of wood with that thing. So you're going to set this thing up where you want it set. I'm going to go over here and measure from the left side. I want to go in, let's say 9 inches. And I got my old homemade clamps here that I use. Okay, there's my 9 inches. I'll go back to the back side, do the same thing. Now this is pretty much general knowledge. Anybody should go figure this out. Okay. Now we've got it all squared up. We got it ready to go. Now then, what you want to do is, and I want to try to show you the best way I can. I'll show you both ways, from the machine side and from the side on the software side. So let me move the camera back over here real quick. want to get it to the, remember how we set it up in the software. We want to go all the way here. Bring it down. And you're going to want to go up to the left-hand corner. Now, this is pretty important as well. And then you're going to bring it down right there. Now, we don't have a touch sensor on this thing. This is all homemade, as you see in the video. So we usually have to guess at it. Now, once you've got it at that stage, let me release my camera here real fast and I can move it around a little bit. As you saw over there, we got it zeroed, or we're gonna zero it on the top left-hand side. Now you can come out a little further and get it closer if you want to. So you got to go right back over here. Once you got it where you want it at, you're going to go 0, 0, and 0. That is where it's going to come back to after you finish cutting. It's going to go back to home. Now, if you get into the cut and you say, well, I didn't go deep enough, or I need to go deeper or shallower, you can go to 0 as long as you have the bit up in the air a little bit by hitting that button right there. So as you see now, I've got it there. I've zeroed the machine out, my computer out. I'm going to pick it up just a tad bit. Now then, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start cutting. You're going to hit the cycle start, which is right here. Make sure your router is on. I'm going to turn my router on. I'm going to hit start. You see how the file starts running?